Hey, good afternoon, and welcome back. It is great to be here with you today. Let me ask you a question. I'll start this way. Do you know why the Knights of Columbus is also one of the largest life insurance providers in North America? I may sound like a strange question to you, but I was just looking for some insurance recently, and I checked out the Knights. I am a Knight, and so I figured, well, why not check out the Knights of Columbus? And I want to just share something with you because I found this interesting. I'm always trying to get you plugged into what I know, and it may seem surprising, but protecting families financially, it's been part of the Knight's mission from the very beginning, and today you'll discover why financial security has always been considered an act of Christian charity. But some interesting numbers. Today, the Knights of Columbus, they protect more than $124 billion in life insurance. And they serve Catholic communities through life insurance. They do retirement annuities, long-term care, disability income protection, a whole litany of other things. And that's really what sets them apart. Let me rephrase that. It's not just what sets them apart, really, because, financial strength is one of those things. But as we talked about a little bit earlier in the broadcast today, a lot of their financial vehicles and instruments, whether it's their charity, their investments, or insurance, it's all guided by Catholic moral teaching. And my guest today is a guy named Paul Kehoe. He's the owner of Kehoe Agency for the Knights of Columbus, and he has been serving families throughout the northern Illinois area. And as a Knight of Columbus field agent, he helps families protect what matters most through life insurance. And he's here today to fill you in on not just the story behind the organization, but on some instruments that really may help you. And Paul, it's great to have you in studio with me today. Welcome. Good to talk with you. Let's start with the origins of this, because, I never thought of the Knights of Columbus. I didn't think insurance first. Mm-hmm. I saw them in church. I knew their charitable outreaches.
Yep.
And you think of other major insurance agencies that are out there. Let's talk about the scope of the Knights, but first, the origins of it. I mean, how did the Knights of Columbus become an insurance agency with, you're talking billions of dollars here?
Right. Yeah, Father McGivney, of course, is the founder of the Knights of Columbus, and the impetus behind him founding the Knights of Columbus is a couple of experiences that he had. One is when he was the oldest of 13 children. And as he was growing up, he found a call in exploring the priesthood, and he went off to seminary. And while he was at seminary, his father died. And that was a big impact, of course, but financially speaking, his father was the breadwinner for the family. And so Father McGivney, as the oldest child, had to quit seminary and come home to work to support his mother and his younger siblings. Yeah. And of course, back then in the 1800s, that's a big deal. If you don't have finances, your children can be taken away. They can be put into foster care. They can be put with families who aren't necessarily bringing them to the sacraments, to Mass. And so for Father McGivney, that was a big effect on him. And then after, of course, he went back and became a priest. He was ordained, and he was working at St. Mary Parish in New Haven, Connecticut. And he discovered that a lot of his parishioners were Irish immigrants. And as they were at his parish and the immigrants, there was a lot of bias against the Irish immigrants in the 1800s. What happened was, a number of them would die, and Father McGivney was there to support the widows and the families, and they were turning to him for financial assistance.
Wow.
And he said, well, I'm a poor parish priest. What am I supposed to do? And so based on those experiences, he said, with all the biases that exist for these Irish families, these Irish immigrants, and other immigrants as well, and Catholics in general, who were seen as kind of invading this country, Father McGivney decided to start his own life insurance organization. So that was the impetus to where we are today.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're and correct me if I'm wrong, because the last number I saw, I thought it said $124 billion in life insurance. You insure more than $124 billion. That number could be even larger. How do you compare to other agencies?
Well, I guess the way I would say it, that I've said it to people along the way, is the Knights of Columbus is one of the oldest life insurance companies in North America. We were founded by Father McGivney, who's up for sainthood. Yep. He's Blessed Father McGivney, currently.
Yep.
And Pope John Paul II began the cause on him, and Pope Benedict elevated him to venerable, and Pope Francis elevated him to blessed, where he is currently. And so we're one of the oldest insurance companies in North America.
You go back to the time of Ben Franklin, right? Is that what you were telling me before? Or
Well,
not quite that.
yeah,
Insurance has
not
been
quite.
around
Yeah.
since the 17-somethings.
Right.
McGivney was 18, but
1882, yeah. And so we're one of the oldest insurance companies in North America, and we're one of the largest with over $124 billion of life insurance in force. We're not the oldest, and we're not the largest, but we're there.
What makes you guys special or different?
Well, I would simply say it this way. We are solidly Catholic.
Yeah.
We are solidly Catholic. Pope Paul VI called the Knights of Columbus the right arm of the church. With all of the many things that we do in supporting the church, solidly behind the church 100%. And in the Knights of Columbus, we have two parts. We have the members who are actively involved in running the spaghetti dinners and the pancake breakfast and doing the Tootsie Roll Drive and doing all those parts. And our Supreme Knight, Patrick Kelly, has described it as two lungs of the order. One is the members, the fraternal members who are doing all of these activities, and the other lung is the agents who are here to serve the members of the order and to serve our local pastor, our local parish, and the local community in all that we do.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the instruments we have here, too. I mean, the history is fascinating, and the cause, I think, is noble. It's important. A lot of people think, oh, I'll get insurance when I'm 60, right? But life insurance is especially important when you are young, especially when you have a young family. But at that time, you don't have any money. You're broke as a joke, you know?
Yeah,
You're like, I can't afford life insurance. But speak to that point, because this is a message for a lot of people that are out there. I've had insurance for a long time. I've always believed in it. You never know the day or the hour, something I often say. And I had a wife. I had 5 young children. I wanted to make sure that I was covered. But a lot of people, they put it off. Speak about insurance. When's a good time to get it? But why, when you are young especially, it's probably more relevant than ever.
Right. What it really comes down to is they say there's an organization called LIMRA.
Yeah.
And it's an acronym. Of course, everything nowadays is an acronym. But Life Insurance Market Research Association. And they collect all the data from all the insurance companies in North America, and they compile that data into statistics, and then they give those statistics out to all the insurance companies. So we all hold LIMRA statistics. So one of the things LIMRA tells us is that people make a major decision in their life about life insurance on average 7 times throughout their lifetime. And so you find people younger in their 20s making a decision, in their 30s and their 40s, and even in their 60s and their 70s. Wow. And so really what it comes down to, if I could just break it down in the most simple terms, there's 2 types of life insurance. There's temporary and there's permanent. And so me personally, I would say, my personal opinion, after I just started my 27th year with the Knights of Columbus as an agent. Wow. And so I have more than 26 years of experience. And based on my experience, I would say that everybody should have some temporary and permanent life insurance. Yeah. That temporary is that small premium and that large umbrella coverage. Yeah. And eventually it goes away. So LIMRA gives us a statistic that in the insurance industry in North America, term insurance is currently paid out just under 2% of the time.
That's crazy.
So as a death claim,
right.
The way that term or temporary insurance works is you can lock in the premium for a term of time. Right. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We even, with the Knights of Columbus, we have a 30-year term plan. You can lock it in, and you can have a guaranteed premium and a guaranteed death benefit for that term of time. But statistically, the chances of you dying during that term is slim to none, and slim left town. Yeah. So it's very remote. And so this is the experience I have in working with people. And so now that's the reality. So now the reality is also people have group term or temporary insurance through work. That's great. Yeah. But eventually you can sit with members who literally are at a point in life, older in life, where they have no life insurance at all. Yeah. You say, wait a minute. If you died a year ago, your family gets $3 million of life insurance. This temporary plan and this other temporary plan, the one you have through group term through work, $3 million. But now a year later, it's all gone. You just retired. The plan and term insurance doesn't necessarily end. What happens is the premium automatically goes up at the end of the term.
Yeah, right.
And people get the sticker shock. They get that. And I try to explain it thoroughly up front so they don't get the sticker shock, but they do every time.
Right.
They get that sticker shock and they say, wait, my premium just went from $50 a month at a zero.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's $500 a month. Guaranteed
Wow.
renewal. No health questions.
Right.
And they say, wait a minute. And then that's when people drop it. So the insurance company doesn't necessarily drop the insured person. The insured person drops the plan because of how it works. It's temporary.
Is that one of the most lucrative sources for insurance companies in term? I mean, it's only paid out 2%.
Right.
And now it's not a very expensive
Well,
instrument.
but the fact is, they only really collect what's needed to pay out the claims based on the claims experience of the company. And so, there are insurance companies that are for profit. They're publicly traded in the market. Of course, the Knights of Columbus is not. We are not for profit. We won't be publicly traded in the market. But the owners of the Knights of Columbus Insurance are the members.
So your prices are more competitive because you're nonprofit, you think?
Well, that definitely gives us a boost. Absolutely.
Gives you an edge.
And when it comes to term's pretty competitive. We're right there in the mix with everybody. But for me personally, I say to people, that portion of it, when you look at that, it's about supporting the Knights of Columbus and all the good works that we do, and supporting the church. And so we're right there, and in the mix. But now the other type of plan is permanent, permanent insurance, and that's where it really starts to separate.
Is that your whole life, your universal, those type of policies?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, and there's really two. There's whole life insurance where you have a guaranteed premium, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit, guaranteed for your whole life.
Sounds
so
good.
the younger you are when you get it, the better.
Yeah.
Because when are you most healthy?
Yeah, when you're young, right?
In most cases, most of us, we're on our way to hopefully heaven, and we have to die to get there. And so one day we're all going to die. And so the question is, when you're born, how healthy are you? And when you eventually die, how healthy are you? And so the younger you are, the healthier you are in general, speaking in general terms. So that's when you get that. So we have insurance we have for kids. I have life insurance, whole life on my 5 kids. We have life insurance on our 6 grandkids. But you don't get life insurance on kids with the fear that they're going to die. It's not about them dying. It's about them living. Because you lock in that premium when they're young and healthy, when it's the best premium they can get, and then it's locked in for the rest of their lives.
Wow.
And number 2, with our plans, we have what's called GPO, or guaranteed purchase options. So in the future, they have guaranteed insurability with the Knights of Columbus. So I have 3 daughters who, if once they're age 18, I can't get insurance for them anymore, except I have guaranteed purchase options on them, and now they can get future insurability. Guaranteed issue, no health questions.
It's complex. I mean,
absolutely.
I know to you it's very simple. That's whole life. We haven't talked about universal, but how do people sort through all this? I mean, how do they discern what's the right instrument for them?
You know what we try to do in the Knights of Columbus is try to sit down and have an annual review with the member. It's not a one and done. Like I say, just going with LIMRA statistics, which are just, you can't fight statistics. They are what they are. You're going to have 7 major decisions in your life on your life insurance. But doing an annual review where you can just review everything and just look it over and kind of just double check it, that's the way to go.
So I want to talk universal life quickly because that's tied to the market. That's a relatively new approach. Was the 80s, 90s? When did they come out with that?
Yeah, so as I understand it, life insurance has been around about 250 years, back to Franklin, right?
That's what I remember.
But universal life first came out, I believe, in 1981. So it's relatively new to the market.
Gotcha.
Now, there's different types of universal life. Now, a lot of those are tied to the market, and they're often confused with whole life insurance. And so I ask someone, oh, what do you have? Oh, I have, I think it's a whole life. And I say, oh, well, let's just take a look at your paperwork. And then we look at it, and it says universal life. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. What's the difference? There's a big difference between whole life, which has a guaranteed premium, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit. 3 guarantees.
That's crazy.
But now you have a universal life, which, depending on how the plan works, and if it's based in the market, it has these internal numbers that people are just not aware of. And those plans, they tend to blow up in the future.
Yeah.
Now, the Knights of Columbus, not at first back in 1981, but eventually the Knights of Columbus came up with universal life insurance for our members and their wives, their families, but ours is done correctly. The Knights of Columbus Universal Life Insurance has, it's called NLG, No Lapse Guarantee Rider, and we only have it with the NLG, the No Lapse Guarantee Rider. It's guaranteed premium and a guaranteed death benefit for life.
I only have a couple of minutes left. Two things, because I'm just curious. I think of McGivney sitting in someone's kitchen years ago, right? What do you think if he saw the financial security that the Knights now provide and the scope of what they're doing and the instruments that they're providing? And in addition to that, for the person that's listening and wants to learn more, maybe you can conclude with how they can get plugged in and take advantage of what the Knights is offering.
Sure. So I believe Father McGivney is at the helm of this organization, even right now as we're sitting here speaking. He is guiding the Knights of Columbus over the last 144 years, and he will continue to guide and intercede for us every day. And so, first and foremost, we look to support the members and the parishes in the community as Father McGivney intended it. And we're looking to support as many Catholic families as we can and do it the right way. And so I would say for a Catholic person, a Catholic family out there, we look to invite you to join the Knights of Columbus, become a member of the Knights of Columbus. Today, it's easier than ever. We can sign you up as an electronic member.
I love it.
And we can get you into the Knights of Columbus. We can get you involved in a local parish. The biggest objection I hear, last year I invited 56 people to join the Knights of Columbus and signed them up. The biggest objection is, I'm too busy. But I'm not looking for you to come to all the meetings.
So what's the best way to do that? How do they do that?
I would say, number one, just contact the local parish. Start with the parish. Ask Father, and the local parish will get you signed up and get you involved.
And check out the Knights of Columbus Insurance. Paul, I got to leave it right there. But thank you so much for being here. Always good to talk to you. We could talk an hour on this. I know there's so much more you'd love to share. I've got to take a very short pause. You know how this works. Stay with me. When I come back, we'll talk more. Don't go away.